Little Red Riding Hood lived in a wood with her mother. One day Little Red Riding Hood went to visit her granny. She had a nice cake in her basket. On her way Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf. "Hello," said the wolf. "Where are you going?" "I'm going to see my grandmother. She lives in a house behind those trees," replied Little Red Riding Hood. Then the wolf ran to Granny's house and ate Granny up. He got into Granny's bed. A little later, Little Red Riding Hood reached the house. She looked at the wolf. "Granny, what big eyes you have. All the better to see you with," said the wolf. "Granny, what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with," said the wolf. "Granny, what a big nose you have. All the better to smell you with," said the wolf. "Granny, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with," shouted the wolf. A woodcutter was in the wood. He heard a loud scream and ran to the house. The woodcutter hit the wolf over the head. The wolf opened his mouth wide and shouted and Granny jumped out. The wolf ran away and Little Red Riding Hood never saw the wolf again. Moral of the story is that we should never trust strangers. Even a very friendly stranger may have bad intentions. Yet that is not the end of our story. Let us look at it from the wolf's grandson perspective.
The story of Little Red Riding Hood is quoted from the words of the grandson of the wolf. "My grandfather was a kind, gentle wolf who did not like to eat meat, so he decided to become a vegetarian. However, there was an evil girl living in the forest who lived with her grandmother, named Little Red Riding Hood. Every day, Little Red Riding Hood went out into the forest and uprooted the flowers and destroyed the grass that my grandfather used to eat. My grandfather was trying to dissuade her from doing so, to no avail. Little Red Riding Hood was stubborn and continued to cut the grass, so my grandfather the wolf decided to visit Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother at her house and tell her about Little Red Riding Hood's actions. When he knocked on the door, the grandmother opened, but unfortunately she was evil too. As soon as she saw my grandfather she brought the stick and attacked my poor grandfather without him doing anything wrong. So he defended himself and pushed her away from him, but the grandmother fell and her head hit the bed and the evil one died. My grandfather was very moved and started thinking about Little Red Riding Hood, how she could live without her grandmother. So he got up, put on her grandmother's clothes, and slept in her bed. But evil Little Red Riding Hood noticed the change in her grandmother's appearance, so she went out screaming and started spreading rumors that my grandfather, the wolf, ate her grandmother to this day. Moral of the story is to not make judgments before listening to the story from both sides.